Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. And here I was thinking I was wearing the right headphones and I was not. Anyways, patch 11.0 for Splatoon 3 is going to come out on January 29th, I believe. It was posted on Splatoon JP on X, formerly Twitter, around yesterday. Let me just show that real quick. There we go. Um, Scheduled to be January 29, 2026, version 11.0. Yes, we're getting it. And then there was a post later, um, on Nintendo of UK, I believe, that it was not going to be new kits. Nintendo of Europe, there we go. 11.0, 29th. It's no new weapon kits, which I'm upset about. Focused on new features for battles. Now, I don't exactly know what this means. When I say I don't exactly know what this means, I mean I literally have like no clue what features is going to be. Of course, we don't have a clue. But I bet some nerdy people who have like thousands of hours into this game can have an idea of what it would be. I'm not one of those people. So, all I can do is speculate. Um I for and also we have no patch notes for this just yet. It is also uncommon for us to get updates this ahead of time. So great on Nintendo for leaking it, but we have no information on it. And I'm slightly upset of it, but I also understand. So, I just want to sit here and talk about it. Um, I don't have much time, so take that as you will. I am hoping that main weapons get buffed. Um, except for the top tier ones, of course. Like, why would we need to buff S Blast, for example? That thing does not need buffs. Um, but I, but we're thinking like the low tiers. I'm trying to think like Bamboo, for example. I'm trying to think of some. Bamboo could use some buffs. Um, Stamp the special weapon, no. Um, I can't think of any other weapons for some reason. I play so little weapons. VDS could use some buffs. Likely shot velocity or damage, either one. Probably not damage, probably just shot velocity. Um, it does not need to be buffed in terms of range, in my opinion. Um, Chargers could use buffs, maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't play much Charger. But some of the other blasters, like the vanilla one, might need some buffs. Might. I'm not exactly sure what would get buffed because I don't play the weapon. Maybe blast radius a little bit or range. No, not range because of range. Um, I don't know. Y'all go ahead and think about it, I guess. I'm trying my best here, but I just thought um, this Twitter came out, then Formula X, and then 30 minutes after it's the Nintendo Viewer app. Um, I'm just sad that there's no new weapon kits. Um, but to be fair, I am a dread one trick at this point. Maybe not a one trick because I'm trying to outwit other weapons. But I am hoping. Let me pull up a weapon list because I forgot what it is. I've played so much Dread that I have no clue the main weapons of this game. Junior does not need to be buffed. I don't. Sploosh could use some buffs. DP, not DPS, but probably um range. Paint, probably nerf paint, but buff range. Aerospray is a tough pill to swallow. It's basically a weaker junior. I guess you can buff its ink efficiency. Shot does not need to be buffed. Gal just needs to be removed. The vanilla kit, probably. Zap is fine, though. Yeah, Zap is fine. Pro could get an RNG reduction. Um, 96 is fine for where it is. Maybe it could use some paint. Jet Squelcher could probably use some paint. Nova just feels terrible. I don't know how I would buff it. If I were to buff it. Um, I don't know if I want to buff Luna at all, though. I don't think Luna would need buffs. I could be wrong, though. Clash is just dumb. But if I were to buff it, probably paint. Rapid. I have zero clue because I've seen very little gameplay of it. Rapid Pro? Probably shot velocity. But again, take that with a grain of salt. S plus, no buffs. L3 and H3. The semi-automatics. Maybe strafe speed. Maybe. And Squeezer is already fun as this. Carbon could use some paint. Just by a smidge, not a whole lot. Carbon because the Deco kit has burst. So that's paint is alright. I'm thinking of Angles has a lot of paint. I'm thinking of the vanilla kit. Vanilla kit is Autobomb Zip, which is not inherently bad, but not something that it needs per se, I guess. Splat Roller, I don't know how I would buff it, to be honest. Probably paint? probably paint. If I'm gonna be completely honest. Dynamo absolutely needs paint. At least I would think so. It has pretty terrible paint from what I've seen. I don't remember the last time it got buffed, though, so... Flingza... Vertical flick speed? But it's already has amazing paint, so it kind of needs to be slow. I think Big Swig is already fine for where it is. Though, if I absolutely were have to buff it, range, maybe? Um, Ink Brush, probably damage. No, not damage. It already has a fast kill time. I don't know if a main weapon actually needs buffs, nor is Octobrush. Probably, I don't think it needs buffs. Nor does Octobrush. I don't think that needs buffs either. Except for maybe paint, but I feel like if I were to buff paint on Octobrush, that's way overkill. Ink Brush is already one of the best painting weapons. Paintbrush, the slowest fast weapon, as I like to nickname it. Not paint. I know that for sure. Startup time I would buff because it's really slow. Squiffer is already in a pretty good spot. So is Splat Charger, if I'm going to be completely honest. If anything, that and Autobomb or Point Sensor would get buffed. Splash Wall's fine, though. And Sprinkler is a difficult pill to swallow, in my opinion. Talk about Splat Charger. Scopes obviously applies the same. Leader, not range. It already has like the longest range in the game, so why would it need more range? Charge, no. If I were to buff charge speed, it kind of loses its identity, and not ink efficiency because then it doesn't make sense with the name, and also would probably lose its identity. I don't know how it buff leader. I mean, it's already in a really good spot. It's meta relevant. The custom kit, Kraken needs buffs. It's not main weapon, it's special, but Kraken needs buffs. Maybe duration, if I would have to buff Kraken. Bamboo paint, in my opinion. Probably paint. But at the same time, the Mark II kit has Fizzy and Chumps, so maybe not. I'm unsure how much I would want to buff it. Not how much, more like how to buff it. Goo, probably charge speed. Or range. Either one. Pencil does not need buffs. Do not buff it. So is Vanilla Bucket. Try, maybe range. Range is kind of dumb on it though. So how would I buff Try? Because it already has fine paint. Maybe paint range. Not the hitbox, the paint range. Not increasing the amount of paint, but more spread it out. Be a weird buff. Machine probably could get a shot velocity, probably, but it is also fine where it is. Blob's weird. Paint for Blob, yes, definitely paint for Blob. Explasher is fine. How would I buff Explasher actually? Huh. How would I buff Explasher? I have no clue how I would want to buff Explasher. I might come back to that. Dread, no buffs. Slider is the one that needs to be fixed. Dread D is just bad. Though has some use cases. Um, I do think Dread is fine. The range on it is kind of dumb. Um, so if it were to get nerfed, probably range by like a smidge, like a tenth of a unit or something like that, a pixel. Oh, not a pixel, but like decrease the range by like a smidgen. Mini. Mini is alright for where it's at. I don't think it actually needs buffs at all. I think it's actually perfect for where it is. The kits are just dumb. Heavy. Um, honestly, I'd have to talk to someone about it because I have never played heavy at all. Like, I don't think I've ever played heavy. Wait, no, I have played heavy like 3 times at all, like 3 games of heavy. And it was because I was farming for licenses. Um, it's difficult. Paint? I don't know. Hydra. Actually, heavy could use some range. Because it needs to be able to anchor in backline. Do you think the Splatling should be backlines except for Mini? Hydra does a fine job at it. Just the kits are the problem, in my opinion. Ballpoint. I think it's balanced for where it is. Nautilus. I've never played Nautilus, so I can't fully say. Headit is meta relevant, so I'm not gonna buff it. Dapples. Range by a smidgen, if I were to be completely honest. But if you were to buff Dapples by range by a smidgen, then buff Tetras the same way. Probably. Spot delays meta relevant. I'm not gonna talk about those. Glugas. Fire rate and shot velocity probably. VDS shot velocity. Dowser's paint. No, not paint. It's already great at it. Or maybe. I don't know. Splatbrella. Damage. Just outright damage. Nintendo's not gonna buff it for damage. We already got like a buff it to be support, but it still needs damage. probably paint if it were to see buffs, but damage. Damage feels very inconsistent on it. Tent Umbrella is fine for where it is. Probably speed it up a little bit, but I probably don't know what I'm talking about there. Or I just don't know what I'm saying. Wunder. Wunder, Sunder. Yeah. And patterns. Shield HP, damage, and paint. Two of those three. Recycled is, I think, fine for where it is. I think it might need slightly more damage, but I think it's actually really good for where it is. You just have a lot of shields, and I think that's perfectly healthy for it. Tri-Stringer. I don't know. Honestly. I think it's perfectly balanced for where it is. Probably. Reflex range. Probably. I don't... Either that or paint when it's charged. When reflex is fully charged, that paint needs to be buffed. Probably. Not the tap shots. The tap shots have a ridiculous amount of paint. Wellstring, something similar, probably. Buff the paint by a little bit. And add more range so it can be a staple backline. Cause it's really weird for where it is. Positioning's weird on it, in my opinion. V-Stamper or V-Sword, people call it both. I'm not gonna talk about it. Wiper, strafe speed, probably. Either that or paint. But paint's already fine on it. Decal's meta relevant. And that's all the weapons. But other than that, practically nothing can be buffed and the game will be fine. But let me know your thoughts and experiences down in the comments, and I will see you whenever. Bye.